Thanks to crowdfunding, this bakery could be opened. Basel Zoo bought a new scale for their elephants. And they're kickstarting a construction project. Specifically, they managed to raise 80,000 Swiss francs in 2 weeks. Switzerland first started to ride the wave of the crowdfunding phenomenon in 2008. Today, it counts 40 active crowdfunding platforms that cater for the different types of crowdfunding. What's common to all of them is that an idea needs to be submitted on an internet crowdfunding platform for consideration. But there are 4 main types of crowdfunding. In crowd supporting, the investor gets a return in goods or services. But that's not the case when we speak of crowd donating. As for crowd investing, the investors end up owning a small part of the business. And finally, when crowd lending, people get back their investment with interest. This last form of crowdfunding seems to be particularly attractive, as shown by a study by the University of Lucerne. In 2015, the volume of crowd lending has more than doubled, going up from 3.5 to almost 8 million francs, and it's a trend that's here to stay.
I expect that we will continue to see this trend. In a couple of years, we will not be talking of billions of Swiss francs, but we will soon be talking in terms of millions of Swiss francs, in the 2 to 3 figures range.
The reason for this increase is that more and more Swiss small and medium-sized enterprises see in crowdlending a viable alternative to raise capital. Some crowdfunding platforms have sprung up that are catering exclusively to the needs of SMEs. That's how Stefan Angler had the idea to turn to crowdlending to finance his company's construction project. But why did they prefer to use crowdlending rather than asking a bank?
Crowdfunding is more in tune with our current times. It's a modern story, and digitalization is common practice nowadays. To be honest, going to a bank was out of the question for me. The advantages are less paperwork, less time wasted, and overall it's a tool more up-to-date with our times. Some expect from crowdlending lower interest rates, while other companies might not be eligible for credit from a bank, so they find in crowdlending a way of getting to the credit.
But if someone didn't receive credit from a bank, isn't that the sign of an investment that's too risky?
Crowdfunding platforms also take companies under the microscope. Those platforms are not open to everybody. Crowdfunding platforms vet companies through a similar process to what banks go through.
As crowdfunding is becoming more and more attractive for SMEs, it's prompted banks to try new tacts. The first to try this approach was Basel Country Cantonal Bank, who were the first in Switzerland to build their own internet crowdfunding platform.
If, on one side, the aim was to keep up with market developments, we were also convinced that through crowdfunding we could discover new opportunities. In addition, it was also a way of sending a message internally and saying that we want to keep up with the times and we want to prepare our workers for the possibilities offered by the digital world.
There are already other banks following this example, such as Post Finance, who are about to enter the crowdlending market.